Welcome to Don't Quote Me on That. One day we will have an intro, but today is not that day.
Hello. I'm Kalina, and welcome back to Don't Quote Me on That, where we kind of talk about movies, and I kind of have a co-host. I'm sure everyone is shocked and surprised and absolutely floored to hear that Eleanor is not here this week. What? Oh my god, that's crazy. Yeah, I know, dude. That's what I said. So, you guys just got me. But I have very exciting things to talk about. And by very exciting things, I mean really just one thing. But I'm really excited to talk about it. And you all are going to listen. And then also, hopefully, but like realistically, I've met myself and I'm not going to do this. But like, I would like to do this. Is I'm going to throw some little video clips in here. But like, also, I'm not going to. Anyway, I'm sure you all saw from the title. I'm talking about the So Much for Tour Dust concert show that I went to, which is So Much for Tour Dust is Fall Out Boy's 2023, the name of their tour that they're on right now. I went to their West Palm Beach date because I live down in South Florida. For those of you who don't know or are new here, hello. I live down in South Florida, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about the tour, what songs they played, what I thought of it, yada yada yada. And you all are gonna join me and have a good time. Okay, so first things first, I did miss the first couple of openers. The tour was, I think it's Royal and the Serpent. Then there was another opener who I'm so sorry I don't remember the name of right now. Bring Me the Horizon, and then obviously Fall Out Boy was the main set. I like Bring Me the Horizon. I haven't listened to a lot of like their newer stuff, but I am Bring Me the Horizon fan. And I was like enough of a Fall Out Boy fan that I was like, for $40, because we got lawn seats because it's an outdoor venue. I was like, I'll go listen to Fall Out Boy. I like them. They've got some bangers. And I did like their new album, at least what I haven't listened to all of it. But like I remember when Love from the Other Side came out. That was the first one I heard. And I like that. And Eleanor and I had mixed feelings on it in the sense that she didn't like it and I did. But like there was kind of like the middle period of Fall Out Boy where I wasn't really listening to them. So I was like, I like them enough to go, day out with my friends, go see it. But we did miss the first two openers. And then we got there right when the second opener finished, which I think was Royal and the Serpent. And we were waiting for Bring Me the Horizon to come on. But because it's Florida and it's summertime and we're outside, there was a severe weather warning. And it didn't rain at all, but it was just lightning and thunders was like nearby. So we had to delay, and we think it was delayed for like 30, maybe 45 minutes, really not that long. So we all had to go back to our cars. We were going to cars, and then we never got a notification that it was like clear, but we saw people heading back, and some people were like, yeah, my family member or whatever, my friend's like still inside the venue. Because if you were like inside the seats under the pavilion, you could stay. And they were like, yeah, they're saying they're letting people back in. So we got back in. Not too much of a delay. Bring Me the Horizon came out and did a shortened set, obviously, because of the delay. So they started with Amen. Also, this is not entirely off of memory. I am looking up the set list just because my memory's bad and, I wasn't sitting there writing down what songs they were doing so I could talk about it. But they did Amen, Teardrops, Die For You, Mantra, Shadow Moses, Drown, Lost, Can You Feel My Heart, and then Throne. Which I'd be interested to see what their other set lists sound like. I lost my train of thought like in the middle of that sentence. But anyway, they put on a great show. Ollie Sykes, fantastic. He sounds virtually the same. The crowd like didn't really know a lot of the songs. They're like, listen, I'm not trying to pose like I did either. I didn't know the first couple, unfortunately. I knew everything from Mantra on, so I didn't know the first three songs, Amen, Teardrops, and Die For You. Like, I had heard them maybe once or twice, because I remember when they put out whatever album it was. Also, I should mention, I don't, like, really follow any artists, and not just on the set, on this, like, show. I don't follow any artists ever. If an artist I like puts out music, I usually find out. It's very rare I find out at the time that they're putting out the music. I just kind of find out when I hear about it or hear about a song. And then I'm like, oh, and I'll go through and listen to stuff then. So whatever album Bring Me the Horizon had put out during the pandemic, or they recorded during the pandemic, with Parasite Eve and Mantra on it. And those songs I kind of got into because they were posting on Instagram. I saw it. Like the behind the scenes of them recording remotely, because they weren't together, obviously, due to the pandemic. And I thought that was really cool. I'm really into stuff like that. I think I had just like finished up my bachelor's. And I did media, for those of you who don't know. So like I was just really interested in stuff like that, and sort of the whole recording process and editing and like preserving quality, because Eleanor and I were talking about doing the podcast, and I don't think we'd started yet. If I believe we started the next year, if I remember correctly. So I was just kind of interested in all that. It was really cool behind the scenes. I think behind the scenes looks of artists are always interesting, whether you like the artist or not. So that was neat. So I remember, like I said, Parasite Eve, Mantra, all that fun stuff. So Mantra was good. The crowd, back to what I was saying, the crowd was like, I don't know if it was because I was so far out from the stage that like I couldn't really hear if the crowd was engaged, but I didn't really feel like it was engaged. But at the end, he was like, you guys were great. And I was like, I don't know if he's just saying that or like he means it or whatever. But like, I didn't feel like we were giving him as much as we could have been. And like, when you're not in the throng of people like you would be if you're in the pit or something, up against the stage, crushed, like we're out on the lawn, it feels a little weird to just be hollering. So like I was singing along when I knew the songs, and I was like responding to him, but like it wasn't that same little sense of community that kind of gives you that safety of anonymity, if that makes sense. But anyway, Ollie sounds spectacular live. He really does. He came out into the crowd, and he was doing this really cute thing. He came out to the crowd, and someone gave him like one of those little hats that has he came out to the crowd during Drown, first of all, which, like, God, what a song, right? But someone gave him one of those little hats that looked like a little creature with ears, and half of it was black and half of it was white. And when you press, it's got like the thing, like the paws like hang down really long, and when you press the paws, the ears flip up. So for the rest of Drown, like in time with the drums, he would hit that. And he was just walking around and hugging people, and I was like, I've never wanted to be front row at something so badly. I want to hug from Ollie Sykes. And then he got into the pit and started the pit, because he kept asking us to start the pit. And he was like, I heard you guys, like, he was like, I thought this was America. I thought this was the land of the free. So let me see the pit. And like, it would start for a little bit. It never got really big. So during Drown, he went into the crowd and like got it going while he was singing the chorus. Being in a crowd of people singing Can You Feel My Heart? My only regret is that I wasn't closer. They weren't doing anything interesting, like too interesting set-wise. There's not much to talk about with this. Unfortunately, they had a shortened set, but it was a really good show. I would really like to go see like a Bring Me the Horizon, like a full show where they're the headliner. And also, I was really surprised they weren't the co-headliner. Like, I thought they were pretty big. I remember them, or perceived them as being really big. So I'm just surprised they weren't headlining, like co-headliners on the tour, but also like maybe they're just not as big in America, or maybe because I don't know if they have or haven't, because like I said, I don't follow them closely or like actively. I just like them. Maybe they just hadn't put out anything in a while, and that's why they're just touring off of old, quote unquote, old stuff. But I thought it was a really good show. Throne is one of my favorite songs by Bring Me the Horizon, so to have them end the set list on that was like, I thought that was really cool, and I really liked it. And I was like really getting into it, so I was bummed they cut it short. I think 9 songs, like kind of when you start hitting the peak, you're like, this is like, great show. You're really getting into, you've got the groove. You kind of know what the band is like live. So it was really nice. Ollie was nice. He chit-chatted with the crowd a lot, and it was like riffing with us. So I liked it. Now on to the main shebang, Fall Out Boy. Eleanor has a Fall Out Boy tattoo. I like it. I think it's cute. I want a tattoo that is not directly a Fall Out Boy tattoo, but it does have a reference to a Fall Out Boy song, but more so because I like songs and like specific song lyrics and themes, not so much because I'm a Fall Out Boy fan, if that makes sense. However, I will say I am definitely a Fall Out Boy fan now. They played 28 songs. So they came out and I think they did either the first song or the first two songs. And then Pete was like, there's no curfew, so we're doing the whole set. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's great. And I was like, oh my God, that's great. And then after the fact, I was like, oh, I kind of wish Bring Me the Horizon got to do their whole set. But however, because there was a delay a little later on, they were like, it's at the end, they were like, normally this is where we would like, leave the stage and then come back and do like an encore, but we're just going to stay on stage if that's cool. Because like, we'd been out there for a while. It was getting late. They wrapped up not too long after, I think, the time they were scheduled to wrap up normally. But they kind of like, there wasn't a lot of talking in between songs. They weren't doing too much. It was very efficient. And not to say we were like neglected as a crowd. It was just less leisurely than I imagine they would be normally. But anyway, I went in with no perception of how any of these bands would be live. And like I said, Bring Me the Horizon really surprised me. I thought it would be a good show, but I was worried it would be a little, for lack of a better term, inaccessible, because they make heavier music, but like it was really chill, also for lack of a better word, a lot chiller than I was expecting it to be. And then with Fall Out Boy, oh my God, this is one of the best shows I've ever been to. Now also, I think, to be fair, the only concerts I've been to like are Warped Tour, so those are like, little micro doses, but I kind of get the idea of how a show should go. I'm going to a concert with Eleanor in September, so I'm excited for that to kind of compare, especially because it's a much different genre of music. And I'm actually going to a concert next week. So I started out by going to no concerts, and now I'm going to a bunch in the span of like 2-3 months. But anyway, so it's such a good show. And I know I said this about Ollie, but like Patrick Stump sounds exactly the same live as he does on a record. And not just for the new stuff. Like he sounds, and I like know his voice better than I would say I know Ollie Sykes' voice. Patrick Stump sounds the same on Dance Dance as he does on Love from the Other Side. Like anywhere in his discography, he has the exact same tone and voice, and like honestly, I'd probably even say his voice is better live, which like is not a totally shocking thing, but it is impressive. And not to be like he's an old guy, but like, he's not a spring chicken as I would say. So it was really cool to see that and really nice to experience live. And then obviously most people were there for Fall Out Boy, so the crowd like knew more of their songs and were a little bit more involved. You know what I mean? So they had their little pre-show playlist going on. They're setting up the stage. It looks like a red curtain pulled over a stage, like a like a theater stage or whatever, which was pretty cool. And then they play, I don't remember they played before this, but they played We Didn't Start the Fire, like their new version of it. This is before they come out on stage. This is still the pre-tour, the pre-show playlist. That's the word I'm looking for, playlist. So their updated version of We Didn't Start the Fire, then the Pink Seashell off of the new album. They come out on the stage. Love from the Other Side. They hit us with it. Great song, 10 out of 10. I have no notes. I guess this will also be a little bit of a like album or song review for Fall Out Boy, because I haven't talked about them, or we haven't talked about them on the show. Love from the Other Side, I think this album so much for Stardust, but this song specifically is just made for a crowd. It is made for a tour. The like cinematic opening, the kind of like quiet instrumental, these kind of wispy, for lack of a better word, build into these heavy drums with getting the guitar. And it sounds like very, I don't think I'm using this correctly, but this is how I would describe it. It feels very new agey, the song. And I think I've mentioned this briefly before, but Fall Out Boy has a reoccurring theme throughout virtually all of their songs, and specifically all of their songs that I know and like and know very well, about sun and sunshine. So Love from the Other Side, we're starting off the bat. You are the sunshine of my lifetime. What would you trade the pain for? And I think I think Fall Out Boy are the perfect example of crafting your sound and creating your niche and defining yourselves as a unique artist, which Ellen and I talked about, I think, maybe when we did First and Lasts, one of those episodes. But basically what we were talking about was Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance, which when I listen to songs by them, half the time the only way I can describe it is, oh, that sounds like a Fall Out Boy song, because Fall Out Boy are the blueprint. So many bands you listen to and you're like, oh, they sound like a Blink-182 knockoff. They sound like a Fall Out Boy knockoff. They sound like a My Chemical Romance knockoff. Or like, not even knockoff, but you can tell where their inspiration is from. Or like, oh, what is this, what is this Fall Out Boy style of lyricism? Because Fall Out Boy did it first and no one else was doing it like them. And while I'm not intelligent enough to define what makes Fall Out Boy so distinct and unique, I know that it is, because when I'm trying to describe their songs, I'm like, oh my god, this song is so good, it sounds like Fall Out Boy singing a song, because it's them. They are the blueprint, to which everyone, unfortunately for them, will be judged forever and ever and ever. But like, it's a good standard to be held to. So all of that said to say, I think this album is a very good example of evolving as an artist, but still having that very clear, defined sound that I could pick out of a lineup at any point in time and be like, yeah, that's Fall Out Boy, even if I'd never heard the song before. We were a hammer to the statue of David. We were a painting you could never frame, and you were the sunshine of my lifetime. What would you trade the pain for? And I mean, just has so many good lines, like a kid playing pretend in his father's suit. I'll never go, I just want to be invited, which I feel on a personal level, I would never go. I just want to be invited. You just want to be included. The anxiety or whatever is actually going to stop you from committing to it. And then every lover's got a little dagger in their hand. I like any sort of imagery about swords and daggers. I have a tattoo inspired specifically from that line in Hotel California when they say, they stab you with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast. And sorry, I'm just like skimming through the lyrics here. Anyway, I don't want to be here forever because it's just me by myself, and like, I can't like articulate a live show to you. There's nothing like live music. Live music, I think, is the grease that keeps the world spinning, honestly. Music in general, but like live music just is something else. So after Love from the Other Side, they played The Phoenix, which is one of my favorite Fall Out Boy songs ever. Probably one of my favorite songs ever. I have it on my like game playlist. And I'd just like to reiterate again, when I say pre-game, I don't mean like pre-game drinking. I mean like, I play water polo, so anytime like before I have a game, that's what I put on. It's just, I'm gonna change you like a remix, then I'll raise you like a phoenix, which sounds so simplistic. For some reason, shouting that at, like, not even at the show, just in my car, shouting that anywhere just feels so good. And then I just really love the lines, wearing our vintage misery. No, I think it looked a little better on me. My thing with Fall Out Boy lyrics is I would love to just they have lyrics where like when I like them so much, I want to have them like tattooed onto my body, but there's no way to like artistically tattoo. No, I think wearing our vintage misery. No, I think it looked a little better on me, but I don't want to just tattoo a whole bunch of words on me, but like, I want to give you the visual of how I feel when I hear that line, but I can't because it's so hard to put onto paper and articulate in that way. And another line I really like in The Phoenix is, time crawls on when you're waiting for the song to start, so dance alone to the beat of your heart. I just really like the message of this album overall. Save rock and roll. 10 out of 10. No notes. I know I said that already. Then after The Phoenix, we get into Sugar We're Going Down. We all know that. We know it's a good song. The crowd flipped out because I think the crowd got really hype obviously when they came on for Love from the Other Side, but I don't feel like they knew that one as well. And then I don't think The Phoenix is a deep cut, but like, at least for the crowd I was in at West Palm, it seemed like it was a deep enough cut. But Sugar We're Going Down, everyone knew. We went from Sugar We're Going Down into Uma Thurman, which was more popular than I thought it would be, but I am remembering now, it used to be on the radio a lot, so like I didn't listen to that song actually because I thought it was just getting overplayed, but I'm into it now. Then we hit A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touch Me. I like that song. To me, that song, I don't know if this is what it intended to do, but because the title is about 16 candles, it sounds like it belongs in a movie. Every time I hear it, I think I'm listening to like it comes on my, if it comes on my playlist, I think I'm listening to like the score from a movie that I've put on the playlist. And I'm always like, oh, like I didn't think that was on this playlist. And it's not. It's always this song. We rolled into, oh, this is what I was trying to remember. So for Uma Thurman, the set changed, and then we get this like Under the Sea theme, because you know it's very like Love Shack beachy sort of vibes in that song, and sort of like the musical interlude. So we got like a beach theme. There was a giant starfish. It looked like they were underwater. It was really cool. Then we went to A Little Less 16 Candles, A Little More Touch Me. Chicago is 2 years ago. Is so 2 years ago. Grand Theft Autumn, Where Is Your Boy? Which not enough people knew that song, and I love that song. It's so cute. Where Is Your Boy Tonight? I Hope He Is a Gentleman. It's just so fun to sing along, and not enough people were singing along for my liking. Come on, you were the last good thing about this part of town. And obviously this is older Fall Out Boy, but just, you know, again, back to that very defined sound of theirs. I could be an accident, but I'm still trying. That's more than I can say for him. Where is your boy tonight? I hope he is a gentleman. It's very simplistic, but I'm sorry. I just really like that song. I just wanted to tell you all I really like that song. Then we go into Calm Before the Storm. Then This Ain't a Scene. It's an arms race, which I'm sure you all can guess the crowd went wild for. Now, again, I don't remember specifically when they changed, but I'm pretty sure it was for this song. It was either this one or Calm Before the Storm, probably. But they switched the set again, and they had this giant floating Doberman head, which was so cool. And it just really, really sick vibe. So we went from This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race, to Disloyal Order of Water Buffaloes, to Heaven, Iowa, which I think after the show is now my favorite song off the new album, but before it was Love from the Other Side. But I don't know, hearing that live, Star-Crossed Lovers, is just... Oh, and that one... I just always think this song is funny because at the opening verse he goes, "Would you read my eulogy?" And then the very next line is, "I will never ask you for anything except a dream sweet of me." And I just think that back to back is really funny. Then after Heaven, Iowa, we hit Bang the Doldrums. We've got Head First Slide into Cooperstown on a Bad Bet. Fake Out. Then Pete says he was kind of cold, and so he was like, "I'm going to go put on a sweater." So he disappears. We've got the piano coming out. Patrick is like, "This song is for someone special who couldn't be here tonight." And then he sings part of Dancing Queen while playing the piano. Then we get a little bit of Golden. Then we get part of Don't Stop Believing. And like, I'm really nosy, and I want to know who was the person who couldn't be there tonight. I don't know if that was like an inside thing. I should know if I was a better Fall Out Boy fan, but Dancing Queen's a banger. Don't Stop Believing, banger. And the friend I was there with, we have like Journeys or like band together, so I was like, they played this just for us. And Pete came back out with pants and a sweater on, and this is not important, it's just I remember this and I thought it was funny because I'm always cold, but like I live in Florida obviously, and so I just thought it was funny. He's up there like playing the bass and like, you know, doing work, and he was like, "Actually, I'm cold right now." So I just thought personally that was kind of funny. And then we go into The Last of the Real Ones, which I was really bummed out about because the crowd did not know that song, and that is, for a long time, that was my favorite Fall Out Boy song. I remember really liking that record when it came out. And I was talking to Eleanor about it one time, and she was like, "No, I didn't like that at all." And I was like, "No, I thought that was a great record. The Last of the Real Ones is so good. I wonder if your therapist knows everything about me." I don't know. I thought, and like, I was singing along wholeheartedly, and no one in my immediate vicinity or that I could hear knew that song. So, Fall Out Boy fans, get it together. The Last of the Real Ones is a great song. It's a good album that it's off of. Then we got Save Rock and Roll, and I was really hoping they were going to do like a special guest, Elton John, because I love Elton John. I think Elton John's a genius. There's nothing I can say about Elton John that hasn't been said before, to be fair, but, love that guy. But what I thought was really cool was when Patrick was singing, he would do a deeper register for Elton John's parts. And he didn't sound like him, but he sounded like him, if that makes sense. Like, it didn't sound like Patrick singing. So he did a good job of filling that in. Then we had that little bit from Baby Annihilation. Then we did Crazy Train, an Ozzy Osbourne cover, which my friend who was there with me, the friend that loves Journey, loves that song. So that went hard. I mean, Crazy Train always goes hard. The lyrics this time, for some reason, hearing the lyrics sung that way made me kind of emo. But we're at a Fall Out Boy show with Bring Me the Horizon as a headline, as a opener. Sorry. So like, when is a better time to be emo? Then they did Dance Dance, Hold Me Like a Grudge, Tell Mick that he just made my list of things to do today. My songs Know What You Did in the Dark, which they had fire for, which was so cool. And Pete had fire coming out of his guitar. And I want a bass that shoots fire. I want anything that shoots fire, but I've been told I'm a fire hazard and a fire starter and shouldn't be allowed near those things. But like, on the dun dun parts, the fire would come out in time to that. That was so cool. And then we wrapped up the show with Thanks for the Memory, Centuries, and then Saturday. Now, if it were me personally, I would have ended on Thanks for the Memories or Centuries. Not that I don't like Saturday as a song. I just think it doesn't go as hard as those two. But I kind of like the toning it down. Not toning it down, but you know what I mean. We're not going like full force and then just ending abruptly. So I did like that. All in all, I realize now this was a bad idea because you cannot articulate a live show. Okay, if I had anything to say to you all, it would be, if you can, go see Fall Out Boy live, because they put on a great show. Patrick Stump sounds identical to how he does on a recording. It's fun. That's another word that's not fun. It's fun. It's a production, but not like an over-the-top one, but like you can tell they really care. They took the time to like connect things. Like I said, Uma Thurman with the sort of beach set, then the Doberman, we changed sets a couple times. They had this little graphic the whole time running that like was a circle at the top, and it was the half happy face, half sad face for a while. And then when it was underwater, it like changed to look kind of like water, and then it changed to look like the moon. And it was like reacting and like in time to the crowd. So like they really put it together very nicely, the whole production, the whole show, and the whole visual effects. And it reignited my desire to be a stage manager for a show, because I used to stage manage, what are those things called? Musicals when I was younger, and plays. And I was always interested in like, or at least for a long time, I was really interested in working with musicians on the technical side in that sense. So like show running, or even doing lights or just sound. So that kind of, seeing a production like that reminded me of why I wanted to do that for so long. So, Fall Out Boy, if you're hiring and listening to this, I think your show is great. Please call me. I'll do it for free, because I'll just, as long as I get to listen to you all put on what I think is the best show I've ever seen every single day of my life, you don't have to pay me. That'll be my payment. And now I think I'm going to go get that tattoo that I was talking about earlier with the slight Fall Out Boy reference. I'll keep you all updated on that one. I don't know if Eleanor will be here next week, but she should be. And if she is, I will get her thoughts and opinions on the show. And I'll let her weigh in on what she thinks about Fall Out Boy. Because, like I said, she's got a Fall Out Boy tattoo. She's more well-versed in, just in general, Eleanor's more well-versed in these things. But, like, the social and, like, I don't know, like, not strictly music things. I'm really good about music and lyrics and songs, but not so much about necessarily what was going on culturally and socially and like fan wise. And she was into Fall Out Boy more than I was when we were younger, and when they were like older. They're older, not older, but like older music. So I'll let her weigh in on those and see what she thinks. But anyway, long story short, I'll be back next week. Eleanor will hopefully be back next week. And keep an eye out, because in September we'll be talking about the concert that we're going to. Ooh, who could it be? Now, sorry, I had to do that. So yeah, just keep an eye out. Let us know if you have any suggestions, if there's any concerts you think we should go to. I'm trying to go to more shows, so I'll try and go. Or any artist you think we should check out. Yada, yada, yada. Anything you want to tell us, you can comment. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Don't Quote Us on that. And we're on Twitter at Don't Quote Us 27. And I love chit-chatting, so go ahead and send me a message. Drop a like. Subscribe. Follow. All that good stuff. And I'll see you next week. Go see Fall Out Boy. Thanks for listening. Don't quote me on that. One day we'll have an outro, but it's not today.